Hey, what's going on guys, XGC. Welcome back to part 2 of the VVS chain in Blender for GTA tutorial. I actually lost the original chain file unfortunately, so I just quickly made another one. Exact same steps that I showed you in the previous part, and we're just going to be continuing off from there. So you should be left with your ped, your chain, and your Bezier circle. So what we want to do is, now that we've got this lined up to the ped, this is exactly how it's going to look in game, we can go ahead and we can delete the ped. So just press X on the ped and delete. So now that we've got our chain and our circle, what we want to do is we want to select our chain, we want to right click, convert to mesh, and then we can go ahead and delete our circle. So we can't edit this now with the circle, so you've got to make sure that it's the exact size you want, it's the exact positioning you want, because this is now how it's going to be. And then what we're going to want to do is select, I'm just going to delete this collection, keep it nice and clean. So we want to take this circle, we're going to rename this just to chain as well, just to keep it easy. And we're going to want to go over to object mode over here, and we're going to go to weight paint. So this is important if you want it to stick to the bones on the character and it not wave everywhere and just work basically. So we want to go to vertex groups, and we're going to rename this group to exactly how I spell this. So scale, capital scale, underscore capital S, and then pine 3. So scale spine 3. And then we want to go down to our UV maps. We want to make sure that we got the UV map that we created, so this one, so we can delete this one. And then we want to rename this to UV map 1. Oh, no, UV map 0, sorry. Then create another one and rename this UV map 1. Then we want to go to color attributes. We want to go color 1. Make sure face corner is selected, bike color is selected, and we want to change this color to FF8000. Click OK, and just make sure that that's full color for the color 1. And then add another one and name this color 2, face corner, bike color, and then change this to FF00. Oh no, just 00. My apologies. So 00, so that you have the alpha there and then black there. So we have scale spine 3 selected, excuse me, UV map 0 selected, color 1 selected. Now we want to go over to this here, which is the vertex selection. Press A to select all, and we want to click assign. That will now weight that chain to our character. So we can now go back into object mode, and we can actually get rid of this. And this is now the chain, all weighted. Go back to our texture. Actually, do we need to? Yes, I think we do. No, we haven't done the solemns yet. Okay, just making sure I remember the steps here. So once we've done this, we want to go over to solemns. So solemns tools here. Obviously, I'll put the plugin down in the description below. If you don't see that, just simply press N. That brings out the toggle, or just press this little arrow here. And then we want to go to drawables. So create drawable objects, shader tools, all that good stuff. So shader tools. And then what we want to do is we want to click this little arrow and we want to search up ped. So just ped. This will make it, I believe that's the right one. Yes, ped emissive is for, ped emissive if you want it to glow and sparkle. Emissive is just glow, and ped is, yeah. So we've got ped. Select our chain and convert active material. So now you can see it kind of goes a little bit freaky. It goes a little bit weird. The shadows look a little bit weird. That means it's working. That's not what it's going to look like in game. Don't worry about that. But that's all correct. That's exactly what it's supposed to look like. And then what we want to do is go to create drawable objects. We can actually now go to material, go down to solemns, texture parameters. Okay, yeah, we haven't done that yet. So create a new thing. I want to go to bear with me here, sorry guys. Shader editor, that's the one that we want. So you've got your chain, before we convert it to drawable, we want to make sure we do this. So we go to shader editor. Oh, and these are the values that we're going to have to stick in to make sure that it actually shines or like glitters in GTA. So first thing that we want to do is we want to go to our bump sampler. We want to open, and we want to go to our textures, and where is it? Our normal map here. So our normal map 1 DDS, open image, color space. We want to make sure it's from sRGB to non-color. Then we want to go to our spec sampler, go to open, go to our spec map, open that, and that's all for that one. Then we're going to go to our specular fall off distance, and we want to set this to 1997. Our bumpiness to 1.081. It would say 1.08, but that's fine. And then you want it right here, you want to click in the center and just change this first value to 0.45. I'll zoom in a little bit here so you can see. 0.45, and change this one to 0.5. This will add a nice little curve. These are the values that I got told that work from other creators. These are the values that I've used that work. So just, you know, you can mess around with these values a little bit, I guess, if you want it less sparkly or more sparkly. I'm not 100% sure on which does which. I know that this is the sort of sparkliness, so if you could always change this down. And I always like to change this. Other people like to keep that at 1. I like to change that down to 0.5. And that's about it for that. So as you can see, if you look over here on the left, you see these small little white dots. And as I rotate, sometimes they sort of pop in. They've got another 2 there, another one there. This is your sparkle. So every time you move it and you see those white dots, that's the sparkle that you're going to see in game. Okay, once that's done, I believe we can shift this back over here. Go back to these, and now we can embed the textures. Okay, so go to your material section for your chain. Scroll all the way down to Solums. Click the Solums arrow, and then texture parameters, and you want to embed the spec sampler and the bump sampler. You don't need to embed the diffuse because we do that through Code Walker and all those good things. So bump sampler and spec sampler, make sure both of those are ticked. Now if we go over to shading, let me just zoom into our chain. Does still look like it's glitter. Yeah, so you can see all these. This is the glitter that it's adding basically. And what you can do sometimes is you can change the strength of the... No, I haven't got one set up, so that's fine. What you can usually do is change the strength of the light, and you can see a little bit better. So once we've got that, what we want to then do is then go do drawables, and we want to make sure our chain is selected, and we want to convert to drawable. So now we have this, which is showing that it's a drawable. Then we go to general, and we want to import code walker XML, and then this is also in the description, the teeth _ 010 _ u YDD XML. I select that and import that into code walker. So this is the chain that you're going to be replacing, this purple thing right here. And in order to do that, what we want to do is we want to select our teeth. We want to open it up, and then open up the teeth _1 so you see the scale root. Then we want to select our chain, and what we want to do is we want to shift click and drag into teeth, so that it's now in the same folder as the scale root. We can now right click this scale root and delete. Now we want to select our chain. We want to Alt P, clear and keep transforms, and that will stick that up here. We want to do the exact same thing. We want to shift click drag down into teeth, and then delete the old chain again. So now you have chain model, teeth, and all that good stuff. So now what we want to do is we want to click the teeth, we want to right click, and want to select hierarchy. So this is our chain and what it's going to look like in game. And then we export code walker XML. And if I just go to my YouTube chain, and okay. Yeah, I think that's the old one that I did. Export code walker XML. Exported in 2 seconds. So now if you find the file, I just go to my folders. So once you've exported in CodeWalker, you'll have your files here. Ignore the part 1 tutorial. You'll have your teeth_10 and you'll have your YDD here. So these is your normal map and your spec map, and then this is your actual chain model itself. So what we want to do is we want to take this model and we want to drag it over into our mods folder, and then I've just made a separate folder called YT chains, and then put it in there just for tutorials sake purposes. So we can actually double click this and we can actually view this in game. So we can see this up here. You can see it also shining a little bit. And then what we want to do is we want to go to our OpenIV, open up the same folder. We want to right click, we want to make sure you're in edit mode as well to be able to do this stuff. We want to go to new, and then texture dictionary. And we go teeth_diff_010_uni_a. So this is all that you need to do if you're handing your files over to someone that's already got a server set up, they have their own resource clothing pack, and they're going to be putting it into the server. You just hand them these files and they will handle the naming and everything else. Hey, post-editing James here. So a step I forgot to do, which you'll also need to do, is when you've renamed your teeth diff here, I forgot to do this, but I do correct it in the video, is you want to make sure that you actually add the texture. So once you've renamed it and you've imported the YTD, you want to double click this and you want to make sure that you actually have your texture loaded here. So make sure nothing's checked up here and everything looks like this. You want to click your import and you want to use the exact DDS that you used in order to, that you used in Blender. So mine was this silver gold diamond DDS. So you want to open that and you want to save that. Otherwise, you'll have a default texture which will look really weird, which I made the mistake in doing, but I correct it in editing. And then if you add the texture, and you can then add the texture here, as you can see, it looks good. So back to normal, James. Just for tutorial purposes, I'm going to show you me putting it into my resource pack and then putting it into my server, so therefore you can see it actually working in game. So what I do is I go over to where I've got my resource pack. So this is my clothing pack here in XGC and Teeth Chains. I'm just going to rename it. Not double click. I'm going to rename it my YTD. It's number 10. And then rename my YDD to number 10 as well. And then just take these and drag them both into here and just copy and replace. So 10 would have been a previous chain that I made. Again, tutorial on this. If this is something you want a tutorial on, let me know and I can go more in depth on making your own server and making your own resource clothing pack and getting all that done. So once that's in the server, I go over to my admin panel, hit a nice restart on that server. Okay, so we're loading it back in again here. All the standard QB core stuff. Select our character. We could already see the chain on our character there. We press play, ask location. And there we have it. There is the glittery shiny chain. If we go to a little CC, if we go CC count, because this is a little mod I added, just so I can sort of better see the chains. We zoom in here, there we go. There is your glittering VVS chain. Ignore my bald head and no eyebrows. This is just sort of default character that got set up. Again, you can sort of look at this and you can think, okay, what can I do a little bit better next time? You know, you can attach the chain to be a little bit closer to the neck. You know, you can see there's a few gaps here. It's all depending on what you're happy with, but that side looks fine. You know, maybe next time I want to have the chain a little bit longer, or you can even do pendants, you know, that sort of stuff. But yeah, that's basically the basic tutorial on how to make a chain in Blender, export it, make it all look good and glorious and shiny. Again, if you want a tutorial on how to create your own server and make your own resource pack so that you can, you know, look at the chains and make sure everything is working and everything looks correct, let me know down in the comments and I will get that done for you. I hope this tutorial hasn't been too complicated for you to understand. If you need help on any of the parts in the tutorial, just put it down in the comments and I'll be more than happy to help you understand the steps. But that has been it for me. Thank you very much, guys, for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.